What's happening, my fellow nerds? I'm Abe.
And I'm Bear.
And today you are watching a brand new episode of Abe Talks Nerdy. We're doing a full spoiler-filled review of Deadpool and
Wolverine.
and we are super excited, of course, to be here and talking about this movie finally. Oh boy. Oh boy.
Wow.
Look. All right. This is your absolute last chance. I'm spoiling shit in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh my god. Okay, guys. Literally, this movie starts off, and it cannot get. You can't have a funnier opening sequence than Deadpool going to Logan's gravesite, desecrating his fucking adamantium remains by using them as weapons while he dances to the Backstreet fucking Boys. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Bye. Oh my god. What a fucking way to start this movie. I told him if I wasn't in a fucking theater, I would have been on the goddamn ground rolling.
Oh.
It was so funny.
Brilliant.
It was
Brilliant.
just brilliant. It just, oh my god, what a goddamn power move. I mean, for real. And I love the fact that they made it a big point to say, oh, we're not gonna do anything to soil the memory of Logan, or we're gonna see it's all different. And then, like, the first fucking scene, not only are they saying those things, but then Deadpool literally does what he does, and it's like the biggest middle thing, which is exactly what Deadpool would fucking do.
Ryan was like, "Here, hold my beer."
Yeah, exactly. Like, for real, it's nuts. Absolutely love it.
Oh.
What a way to start the movie. And then I got to get into something that I really wanted to talk about. The first other scene we see as we kind of do the flashback thing, which is classic Deadpool. We flash back to see why the hell he's in the situation he's in. And I love the fact that we flash back to him using Cable's time travel device to jump from universe to universe, and he goes to the MCU 616, our prime timeline, and he literally I can't believe this. So he tries and goes to become an Avenger. And I think my favorite part of this sequence is that while he's talking when we actually see when he goes there.
Yes.
Because it shows you when he's going there.
Yep.
It's March of 2018, which literally is like a month or a month and a half, 2 months ish from the start of Infinity War.
Yeah.
So he's literally talking. He's literally talking to Happy Hogan, and when he was sitting there, he was hoping for the big guy. He meant Tony Stark. Like, for a minute, I'm like, they're not actually gonna. Right? No?
Yeah, I was thinking
like,
the same thing. There's no way in hell they're bringing him out.
I was like, if they did, I would have lost it. I mean, they brought another face that we all really would love to see again too, and we'll get into that in a minute.
Right.
But yeah, that's literally, like, that's the start of this fucking movie. You have those sequences all back to back, and that's how the movie fucking starts. And I'm just sitting there like, wow.
Every time I looked over at this guy, his mouth was just dropped.
Yeah.
To the ground. I mean, making sure I wasn't the only one with a dropped jaw. I'm looking over, and he's just like.
And I'm sitting there like, smack.
At one point, he hit me pretty dang hit. I'm like, Jesus.
Oh yeah. The one. Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute. It was the one sequence where you were doing like this motion, and I'm like sitting there going like this. So we're fucking smacking the shit out of each other by accident. Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, you don't get much crazier than a start than that, and then it just keeps escalating from there. It just keeps escalating, and in absolute perfect Deadpool fashion. Like, this is the most Deadpool movie ever.
Yes.
Like, genuinely, like we really got the hardcore Deadpool.
Yeah, it was like this whole thing of when Deadpool was being Deadpool at the very beginning, and then when all of a sudden things changed, and wasn't Deadpool anymore, like just the non-R-rated frickin' stuff. But all of a sudden he's just like, you know what, I'm coming back, baby.
Yep.
And he's just, whoo!
Yep. Yeah.
He came in hard.
Yeah. They really went for it. If you guys were at any point concerned that this movie wasn't going to be rated R, it might even arguably be the most rated R. It is exceptionally the most violent, and definitely I think the most gory.
Yes.
And the jokes in this movie are, in my opinion, make this the funniest Deadpool movie, like by far. But here's the thing: this movie, and I'll touch on this in a minute, because I know I want to let Bear get some thoughts in here before I go hard on this. But this movie, I was sitting there, and probably for the majority of the duration, I was laughing. For the majority of the duration of this movie, I was laughing or right. But our crowd only noticeably laughed at certain jokes.
Yep.
And I'm going to explain why I think that is, especially because I've heard now I'm hearing everything from everyone. Kind of, we had a couple days to sit. Obviously, we went and saw it Thursday, and it's now Saturday. Which, by the way, check out our San Diego Comic-Con Hall H coverage right after this video. But yeah, we've had a couple days to sit, and so I've had some time to think about it, and so I have some thoughts. But I'm gonna let you start and get. Do you have a couple of things? I'm gonna let you get some couple things in first here.
I'll tell you what. Yeah, it's like this freaking movie through and through. The jokes. Back to back, freaking just. Whoo! Chef's kiss, big time. Like, it was absolutely amazing. Laughter through and through throughout the whole movie, and freaking. Tell you what, to me, in my opinion, this was literally the most epic movie I have seen since Spider-Man: No Way Home.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
100%.
Just.
Honestly, the best multiverse movie since No Way Home.
True. And it was like, oh. And I'll tell you what, they delivered big time on this movie on what the fans wanted.
Oh, yeah.
What they
Huge.
wanted to see. They listened to the audience.
And the best part was, all of the fan service was in what's the word I'm looking for? In favor of the story.
Yes.
It never works against the story. It's not the gratuitous cameos for the sake of having gratuitous cameos.
Yep.
It is cameos that are incredible, but further the plot.
Yes.
And like literally every time, literally every cameo pushes the story forward.
Yes.
And it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good, so good.
All right, go for it, brother.
All right, here we go. So, we're getting into the overall comedy here. Let's talk about what this movie is, what this movie does best, and why I think it's maybe not for everyone. Okay. Let's just start with the fact. Let's just talk about the Wolverine sequence for a minute, and I'm talking about when he goes searching for Wolverine in the beginning of the movie. He literally jumps through, and the first thing we get is just everybody's dying laughing because it's comic accurate Wolverine, and it's super short. Which, by the way, I think right then and there, everybody who complains about Hugh Jackman not being comic accurate Wolverine instantly was like, okay, I'll shut up then. Instantaneously, they're like, yeah, all right. you're okay, yeah. And I love that they made a big joke out of it.
Yes.
But then Also, which by the way, let's just mention the fact that we got to see Henry Cavill as fucking Wolverine.
Yes.
Not a casting I actually thought about. There's
Yes.
several other castings for Wolverine that I was thinking about that I was like, oh.
Yeah.
But the fact that I'm sorry, Henry Cavill kind of fucking did it. That was kind of fucking Wolverine, wasn't it? I was like, until he turned around, I was like, Jesus. I was like, God damn, you got jacked for this.
Yeah.
And then he turns around and I'm like, oh shit, it's fucking Henry Cavill.
And see, he caught it before I did. Like, I didn't see it until the camera kind of got a little bit closer, and I'm like,
you were like, wait a second. So the Cavalrine. And I love the fact that they absolutely made the joke. He did not shy away from making the joke. Come to us, we'll treat you better than the shitheads down the street. Which is obviously a jab at Warner Brothers in DC, which is absolutely hilarious. But which also we're gonna have to come back to that because I want to talk on whether or not we think he actually could wind up being the choice for Wolverine or not. Because I think that would be very interesting. But you'll start to notice a little bit of a theme here as we're talking about each of these. Then we jump to a classic comic version of Wolverine where he's in a which I can't remember what specific comic it was from, but he had the one hand was gone, and he had the other hand. And then we jump to in the middle of the forest to another classic, iconic fucking Wolverine comic, where Wolverine is in the awesome fucking brown and gold fucking suit, and he's fighting the Hulk, which that's awesome. That's spicy. I love it. And then you go to the sequence where you get the classic, iconic scene from a cover of Wolverine where he is literally crucified on an X above the skulls of mutants. That is a absolutely iconic comic book reference from Wolverine. And so you get all of these back to back to back. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but in each of those little things, they were huge to us. Because we're like, But everybody else in the theater was kind of just like having fun.
Yeah.
And they didn't really seem to super react the way we were reacting.
Right.
And the reason is because those are all big nerdy references.
Right.
Like nerdy references. Let's get into the main cameos behind this movie. When you get to the main sequence which by the way, and I knew this before the rest of it was obvious before the rest of the crowd. I was like, because we see Chris Evans, and I goddamn knew. Even Deadpool hadn't caught on, but even I goddamn knew. I'm like, especially when Deadpool's going, he's gonna say the thing. He's gonna say, "Oh, that," and nope, flame on.
Yes.
And I was like, I fucking knew. From the second he took that cloak down, that's not Captain America, buddy. That's fucking Johnny Storm. Now, here's the thing. How many of you have ever watched those Fantastic Four movies? How many casual Marvel fans from today watched movies that are almost 20 years old?
Yeah.
Keep that in mind. Then we get into the main cameos. Jennifer Garner's Elektra.
Yes.
Wesley Snipes' Blade. Channing Tatum's Gambit.
I lost
and
my shit.
Daphne Keane coming back from Logan.
Yes.
She's probably the one that everybody recognized, and that's why they saved her for last.
Yep.
Because everybody's probably seen Logan. Because
Yeah.
Logan's like one of the grand masterpiece movies of comic book genre, period. So, I'm sitting there losing my fucking mind especially when Gambit comes out. I was freaking out when fucking we saw Blade, and I'm like, oh my god, it's actually
Yes.
Wesley Snipes.
Yes. I was very excited.
But I lost my shit when I saw Channing Tatum, because not only do we have video evidence of me saying that that's exactly something Ryan Reynolds would do as a fucking joke,
Yes.
and they fucking did it.
Mhm.
I was so vindicated in that moment. It was unreal. But not only that, it was so fucking funny to me. I was nonstop laughing the whole time when there are only like 2 jokes in that scene landed for everybody else in that theater. But I was laughing the entire time. And do you want to know why? Because I'm a giant fucking nerd. And I know something that clearly the rest of the audience didn't know. That Channing Tatum was cast as Gambit, and there was going to be a Gambit solo movie that never happened.
Mm-hmm.
And the entire sequence was him making fun of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was dying laughing. But everybody else was quiet as a mouse. So here's the point I'm trying to ultimately make with this. I think a lot of people are going to miss a lot of the jokes, because a lot of people don't pay attention to big behind-the-scenes nerdy things, like somebody getting cast and then their movie never being made.
Yep.
Or an actor showing up from a movie that they probably haven't seen because it's 20 years old and they're probably only 15. Let's just be honest. Okay? I realized that this movie is made for people like us. All of the humor is wonderful, referential humor.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great jokes in between, but a lot of people are going to miss a lot of these jokes because they don't know what the jokes are talking about. I've even seen somebody in the trailer reactions not get the joke where they were talking about cocaine and saying Kevin Feige told them that was the one thing they couldn't talk about, because they don't know who Kevin Feige is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like blasphemy to me, right? Because that's like the man who fucking made the MCU possible. You know? So it's like that's, you know, but people don't know that stuff. A lot of average moviegoers don't know that stuff. And I think that a lot of that stuff's just going to go over their heads, so they're going to be like, yeah, it was funny, but it wasn't that funny. It's like, no, it's actually extremely funny.
Yeah. Yep.
To people like us. So I wanted to make this point, and I'm going to bring up a classic quote that I'm sure that you probably have heard a billion times, even on YouTube. The classic quote that when you make something for everyone, you make something for no one. So it's absolutely okay, and it feels refreshing and lovely to have something that was made as a love letter to people who are giant fucking nerds. Like, genuinely, like, this movie's for us. This is for our nerdy people who have seen the X-Men movies. You're going to understand the X-Men jokes.
Yep.
If you've seen any of the Fox movies, you're going to be losing your mind. If you've seen, the Deadpool stuff, there's Deadpool running jokes, like the Scoutmaster Kevin joke, which every goddamn time he does one of those jokes, it always lands and it's always funny as shit. And that's not like all of those things are there, and they're just baked into the identity of this movie, and they just absolutely go for it. And it's beautiful and wonderful and refreshing, and it's so nice to just have a movie that says, hey, nerds, yeah, stuff happens, not everything we've done is great, but here's something that's going to kick your ass in the best way possible. And so as a giant nerd, I absolutely adore this fucking movie. Absolutely adore it. Now we'll get into theories and stuff and kind of that stuff toward the end here. But let's get into some more stuff. You got some other stuff you want to talk about?
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you chime in.
So kind of what I've been wanting to, like, kind of in the realm of the cameos, Easter eggs, things like that I really really enjoyed, and that in this that they actually ended up what was the one? Oh yeah, it was the guy, the one that played Juggernaut, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Was the guy who played the muscle, builder from
Yeah.
Free Guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, sure. Yep.
Yes. So he was that same guy, and I'm like,
That's too good. See, I didn't actually get that one, so
Yes,
that's cool. I didn't know
yes.
that. I'm glad you brought that up.
yep. And then another Easter egg that oh man, is so cool is the one that ended up at the Wade's birthday party.
Yes.
Right. With the scene where Buck, but our Wade tells Buck, no speaking lines, Buck.
Yeah. Yeah. Just like, yep.
He said in
No
Deadpool
more
2,
Yep. No more
where
speaking
he
lines.
says,
When he's
Yes.
drunk, obviously, right after
Jesus
Vanessa dies.
Christ, Buck.
Yep.
No more speaking lines for you.
Yeah.
Yes. And I heard that, I'm like,
The one that got
yes.
me was when he chimed in and said something, and he's like, "What are you improvising?" That shit had me dead. I was like,
Oh.
"That's great."
Oh. And then
Oh,
a
man.
really good Easter egg.
Yeah.
I don't know if he caught it. I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
So he usually pays attention to that. I don't know if everybody did. But in the void,
Yes.
in the sand, and that there was a Secret Wars
Yes.
comic.
I actually
yes.
literally tried to point it out to you in the theater, but I didn't want to be loud. 'Cause
Yeah,
It's like, it's a
yeah.
secret word. It's when
Yes.
right after they come out of the portal and
Yes.
he's laying down
Yes.
and it slowly comes in. Yeah.
So-
That's actually in the trailer as
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
which I don't know if a lot of people knew that or
Yeah.
not. But yeah, the Secret Wars comic. It's
was
it's
like,
the, it's
yes.
the 2015 Secret Wars comic. too.
Yes. That's what I liked about it.
I love
And
that
then-
this movie was kind of just Deadpool's Secret Wars.
Yes.
In a way,
It was
it
the
really
Secret,
was.
Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And I freaking love that.
Yeah, me too.
And another really good one in that he actually had, out of 3 of his 4 kids,
Yes.
cameoed.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Okay,
out of
so there's
3
more
of
than
them.
just the one.
So you had
Yeah.
Baby Pool.
Yes. Was
Uh,
that actually
yes,
his
yes.
Oh my god.
Baby Pool, Kid
That-
Pool,
yeah.
and there was another one was played a Screaming Mutant.
Oh really?
Yes.
Okay.
Screaming Mutant.
Okay. See,
Yes.
See, I
And I
didn't catch
think-
everybody's. I did
Oh.
because I knew it. I knew it immediately when you first meet Nice Pool and he's talking
Yes.
about Lady Pool. He said,
Yes.
and she just recently had a kid. I was like, okay, so it's
Yes.
Blake Lively.
Yes.
I was like,
And
so,
then, of
and then
course,
obviously when you
Blake
hear
played
her,
Lady Pool.
it's so Blake Lively
Yes.
is and then I did notice, like I said, like literally right afterwards,
Mm-hmm.
I did notice in the credits that Kid Pool was one of his. It said,
Yep.
I can't remember the name, but it was it
Yep.
said Reynolds.
So yeah, the baby,
So I'm like,
the
okay, yeah.
kid, and a Screaming Mutant,
Which
and of course Dog Pool. I mean,
yes, Dog Pool. Yep.
So the whole family was pretty much
Yeah.
you
Which
know,
is great.
Yeah.
And they were all Deadpools.
Speaking,
Well,
of
almost all
nice,
Deadpools.
speaking of Nice Pool, he is actually credited in the credits.
Yeah.
And that Nice Pool of being the same name of, but I can't remember the name, was supposed to be Ryan Reynolds' fake twin.
Oh really?
Yes. And
That's
it was
too good.
something Reynolds, and I can't remember. It's a kind of like a running joke thing that
That's
was in stuff.
great.
Yes. And then was, of course, my absolute favorite. I mean, you can't go without a Marvel movie without seeing something for our, the Great Lee. And
Yes.
in the bus,
Yes.
on the bus,
Yep.
during the fighting scene when he's fighting all the frickin' other Deadpools,
Yep.
they had a poster or something
Yep.
on there.
I think we both
for-
went. Oh.
Yes, it's like every time I see something in a Marvel movie that's connected with that, I just almost instantly almost had that little tear,
Yep.
and it's like, oh,
We love and miss you, Stan.
yes,
But yeah, like, oh come on, this movie was so good. Yeah, let's.
it
Well,
was.
we've already been kind of mentioning it. Let's talk about Deadpool core. The Deadpool core.
Yes.
Oh, by the way, so I thought this was kind of like a replacement for the Thor core. It's not at all. It's not at all. I was very much just so educated when I went online
Yes.
and kind of looked it up. So that's great. So I was really appreciative of that. Yeah. The versions of Deadpool in here are hilarious. They even had a Deadpool who had Ryan Reynolds' soccer or football team.
Yes.
The Wrexham.
Yes.
So they had those. They had that Deadpool in
Yes,
there.
that was actually a football player for
really?
Wrexham.
That's actually really
Yes,
cool.
that played
That's
that
awesome.
Deadpool.
And of course, I think everybody got kind of like secretly, absolutely fucking loves Headpool. The fucking floating zombie skeleton head. That shit is so funny. I know that no one's gonna believe this, but it's fucking hilarious. We actually were originally working on a skit, which we're turning into a full-blown hilarious comedy movie for Deadpool. There's a skit for Deadpool where specifically we were both going to be playing Deadpools, and his Deadpool was going to not have regenerative abilities, and he accidentally shoots himself. And they literally took that joke and they had applied it to Nice Spool, and literally it was in the movie. And when they started doing that, he had no clue why I was freaking out, but I was like, oh my god. I was dying because I was like, that was literally one of the jokes that me and my friend wrote for this skit originally. We're still going to keep it in there, and we're going to even make it funnier because we're going to reference Nice Pool now that we have something to reference. But I wanted to say that because I thought it was really funny that something we thought of actually was a joke in the movie. But yeah, Deadpool Core was that was mwah. There was, of course, it gave us the best scene in the movie. It gave us, in my opinion, a moment that I know every time I rewatch this movie, I'm probably going to cry for even just like 2 seconds, is when you finally see, as they're about to fight the Deadpool Core, oh my god, I lost it. I'm telling you, in that theater, I was like, yes! I'm like, fucking finally!
Yeah. And I was thinking the whole day, trying to figure out, okay, when is the mask going to come on?
I honestly
Holy
forgot.
shit.
I honestly completely forgot because I was so engrossed with the movie that when he started to do that, I'm like, I'm like, yes. Oh, it's such a beautiful and wonderful and deserving moment that we truly have been waiting for forever, 25 goddamn years. I love. Oh, you know what I really loved about this? I love that him putting on the suit was a big part of the story. Like, genuinely, it's a big part of his story arc. It has everything to do with what's going on in his story. I love that. I fucking love that. I mean, what a genius move by the. I mean. Absolutely incredible.
Yes.
I mean, genuinely, like, that was just pure. I love it.
You know what I really love? Only one name comes to mind. Peter.
Peter! I love the fact that Peter is literally Deadpool catnip.
Yes!
Because they all swarmed him like, oh, Peter! Woo!
It's like, hell, yes.
Peter Pool, baby. Let's go.
They all love Peter.
Oh, it's so good.
And we all love Peter.
Also, I'm sorry, Hunter is it B11? God damn, I can't remember. I never fucking remember.
Something like that. I don't remember.
From Loki.
Yes.
She seems to be like the head person at the TVA now.
Yes. Now.
Which is much deserved. And I love the interaction, the small interaction she has with Peter, where she's like straight eye banging him, and I'm like, what?
So you literally had a freaking rippled, shirtless Logan, and then she turns to him and just all like hearts in the eyes kind of thing towards Peter. Like
dad bod Peter. I'm like, that shit was killing me. I'm like, that's great. Yeah, God, wow, what a genius way to do that.
Yes.
Let's talk about the emotional component to this movie. Wow. Logan's story in this movie was absolutely phenomenal. And I know that it's going to make me even more emotional watching it again,
Yeah.
like the second time around,
Yep.
because in the theater it's all like you're like everything's shock and,
Yep.
and excitement and like joy, so you're all like this. So even when the heavy shit hits, it's not making you like fully emotional
Yeah.
yet.
Yep.
So because you're so high on everything else that you're like, you're like, you're like that more than anything.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, oh man. And then like when you watch it the second time, that's when the waterworks are gonna come.
Yeah.
And I think absolutely the story of both Deadpool and Wolverine in this movie was absolutely fantastic. Like genuinely fantastic. The arcs that they both had in this movie was beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. I love the story. I love the emotional components. And of course, I mean, every goddamn time Wolverine just sinks into those tragic moments that he has, and Hugh Jackman playing it. It's just every goddamn time. It's an award-winning fucking performance.
Yes.
Every single time. And then seeing him with X-23, that whole sequence, that whole moment when you learned everything that's going on, you're just like,
Yes.
wow. And I also love that this movie ended with him and her reunited. Like, that was beautiful. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Hugh. Thank you, Sean. Thank you, writers at Marvel. Thank you, everybody who fucking worked on this movie. You are absolutely brilliant. Absolutely fucking brilliant. Oh, man.
Many praises.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it was just they just nailed it. They absolutely did.
If I can kiss y'all's feet, and that I would.
Yeah, for real. For real. I mean, this is and look, I got to say, watching interviews, watching some of the early like stuff that's happened at like San Diego Comic-Con, and also Kevin Feige got his star on the Hollywood Boulevard, the where they do all the stars in Hollywood.
Yep.
He got his this week as well, and Hugh and Ryan were there, and it was a big part of that. Seeing those two, look, I'm telling you right now, everybody's been like missing Chris Evans and Robert Downey since Endgame, and like it's felt like we haven't looked at characters and been like, you're the new face of this. It feels this week I have really genuinely felt that Ryan and Hugh just became the face of Marvel. Like genuinely, they became the new Cap and Iron Man.
Yeah.
Like with this movie, with the way that they've just been presenting themselves and how they've been interacting and how much love and how much wonderful stuff they've been doing for this the press tour and everything with obviously San Diego Comic-Con now. It's just been like, yeah, like they're front and center now. They're front and center now, and I really genuinely hope at least for 2 more movies we get to see them again. Just 2 more movies. All I need to see them in is is Avengers whatever 5's gonna be, and Avengers Secret Wars. And then after that, Hugh, you can retire. I will die a happy fucking man. I think you will too. I mean, look,
it's not over.
Look.
It's not over.
And
to be completely honest, I don't think it's going to end just the 2.
Yeah.
If they put those 2 in those 2, I really honestly think it's going some way it's going to continue with those 2.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing though. They're old. Ryan, not as much. Hugh, I mean, that man quit already once. Okay? Look, let's just be honest, because he's been playing this character for longer than literally anyone else has ever played any comic book character ever. He's been playing this character for 24 fucking years. 24 years! So, I think, honestly, by the time Secret Wars comes out, he's going to say, that's it, I'm done. And that's absolutely okay with me. But as long as we get to see him in Secret Wars, that's all I want. I want to see Wolverine get to share the stage with all of my other favorite Marvel heroes. I want to see the Avengers. I want to see the Fantastic Four, and I want to see the goddamn X-Men all on screen together. That is the only way you top Endgame, and it's gonna happen. I'm telling you now. But that's another goddamn video. All right, look, let's get into our last scores. Let's tell our kind of last feelings, and then we'll talk a little bit about some theories, and then we'll wrap it up. All right, here's my score. This movie is absolutely brilliant. There's a ton of stuff that I absolutely love in this movie, and I give it a strong 9.5 out of 10. Now, I know this guy over here is probably looking at me going like, you didn't give it a 10 out of 10? You didn't give it a 10, especially after everything you just said?
Get out of my head, bro.
Look. Look. It is an absolutely brilliant movie. It is almost practically perfect. But there are a few things that I really wanted to see in here that we didn't quite get. However, it did spark some interesting debate. And the post-credit scene was only a fun and jokey post-credit scene.
Yeah.
I wish they would have added at least something in the post-credits to say, maybe there's more. They didn't even give you the classic Deadpool and Wolverine will return. They didn't even give us that, which I don't blame them. I'm not mad at them for it. But it's just a smidgen. Like I would even give this a 9.75 out of 10. Like just a smidgen from a perfect. Because look, I also know that not everybody's going to love this movie. I know that not everybody's going to give it even as high of a score as we are.
Right.
So I'm trying to be reasonable and objective, but I can't go lower than a 9.5 because this movie is absolutely incredible. I absolutely love it. That's my score.
Well, I flat out gave it a 10 out of 10. So I mean, he was dead on that one. It blew my mind.
Yep.
And because of how much I love Ryan Reynolds, and I love Ryan Reynolds, basically Ryan Reynolds being Deadpool,
Yes.
and I love Hugh Jackman, and Hugh Jackman being the most amazing fucking Wolverine ever.
Yep.
You know, and
Being the X-Man.
yeah, the X-Man. So, and seeing those two come together, it's like, holy hell in a hand grenade.
Yep.
It's like, it just absolutely blew me away, back to back, everything, and it just, and it's like I don't know how many times I'm gonna end up rewatching it over and over and over again.
As soon as that thing hits streaming, it's
exactly
instantly on replay.
Because I would not be able to get enough.
Like if I had extra time and money, I'd be going and seeing it as many times as humanly possible in the theater.
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, if you are a big fan of this movie, please go see it as many times as possible in theater as you can. As much as you can spare the time and or money, because let's get this goddamn movie to where it deserves to be in the box office. Yeah. Let's get that goddamn number up. Let's go. Let's fucking go! As the marketing says.
By the way, and Ryan and Hugh, if for any reason y'all ever end up seeing this, or anybody who's connected to Ryan and Hugh, and then please tell them, after all this stuff, after Avengers, whatever it's going to be called, Avengers 5 or whatever. If they end up being in that.
Yes.
If they end up being in Secret Wars, and all that's done and over with, even if y'all somehow don't end up in there, please do a musical together.
Do a musical together. Okay.
That I want to see it. I want to see. You're both good. I mean, they're both great singers.
Yes.
I've heard them both sing, and it's like, and I think that they would be amazing together in a musical. You know, maybe The Greatest Showman 2.
Or just Deadpool and Wolverine the musical.
Oh yeah, true.
I'm kidding, but still, I'm kidding, but yeah, no, that'd be awesome. I'm just anything they do together, I'm there for.
Yes,
absolutely. Yeah, just fantastic. Okay, let's talk a little bit about some theories here. Okay. So this was pointed out. I'm not saying that any of these are like sort of mine because I've been really kind of just focusing on hearing what other people have to say or think about some of this stuff. So I always thought I thought it was really, really interesting, the whole anchor being thing.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, this is a really interesting way to sort of replace Molecule Man from the comics, and how they basically use Molecule Man to essentially collapse the entire fucking multiverse, sending all of the universes on collision courses with each other, creating the incursions, and then basically leading to Battle World and Secret Wars.
Yes.
So they are replacing that with something called anchor beings, and when this anchor being essentially dies, we get something pretty interesting that happens. The universe slowly dies. Well, okay, so this is super interesting, like genuinely, because it fires up a million new questions, like a million, and that's like the thing that should essentially answer questions, but it just made more instead, which again is a little bit frustrating as someone who's sort of extremely hyped and excited about this movie, or sorry, about the universe and kind of where we're going. I'm really from the second they started teasing Secret Wars, like I've been like 110% invested in that. I've been like dying for them to actually start pushing toward it, and they've only done like small baby steps toward it.
Right.
And I think this might be almost quietly the biggest step forward we've had yet, because not only did they talk about the anchor beings, but they talked about something that people are theorizing right now could lead to what the new version of Avengers 5 is going to be. And I won't bury the lead any longer. So at the end of the movie, Deadpool and Wolverine, we get this moment where we have Deadpool and Wolverine have saved the universe, and now it's regrowing and growing stronger than ever before, which is new and unheard of for the TVA. A lot of people think that this is going to wind up causing it to collide and create an incursion between the X-Men universe and the Avengers universe. And that would effectively set up a multiversal version of Avengers versus X-Men as Avengers 5. So that's something that we might freak out about in San Diego Comic-Con tonight, when they're doing their big Hall H panels. When they announce the title of Avengers 5, if it's titled Avengers versus X-Men, I think we're probably going to absolutely lose it, because this is a crazy theory, right? This is a nuts theory, right? But it's fully possible. The other thing that I found really interesting, this is something I actually did the work on for the theory. It's not so much theory as more of a big observation. I went back and I personally put on Disney Plus, I went into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, because I wanted to remind myself what the rules were that causes incursions. And it was very specifically said that a being from a universe who doesn't belong in another universe will cause an incursion. We just ended Deadpool and Wolverine with not only Logan, but also, actually, okay, I was about to say X-23, but X-23 is that from that universe, because she's just in the future.
Yep.
She's in the past now.
Right.
But Wolverine, Logan, that's not his home universe.
Yep.
Incursion. I think that everything those little tiny choices they made at the end of that movie all set up what's about to happen. And I think we're about to get the answers, and I'm tense. I'm like, give me the answers. Give me the answers. I need it. Yeah, I'm really excited. Do you have any theories or anything?
No.
No, that's okay because I
Yeah.
just dumped some pretty big ones.
Yeah, like I mean, I would. Yeah, I'm. Hoo-wee.
But I mean, what are your thoughts on the theories I was just saying?
I mean, it definitely sounds completely possible.
Yeah,
Completely possible, because the way you were saying it and what yeah, about when it was said and that about incursions,
yeah,
and it's like if they're in there for a certain amount of time, certain length of time, that they, that
yeah.
can mess up
That's what
everything.
causes it. Yeah, which
And it's
co-
like, oh,
so there's
uh-oh.
yeah. So they actually set up. And I wasn't thinking about this when we were walking out of the theater.
Yeah.
Like when we were initially going to do our spoiler-free review, which by the way we filmed, but I kind of don't think it's worth putting up because it's just us going, yeah, holy shit, that was amazing, and then we're like, but we can't say anything, and it's like not even 2 minutes. It's like a minute and 40 seconds edited.
Yeah.
So I'm like, should I post it or should I make a short out of it? I don't know.
You
But
good.
this is better anyway because we're just talking about the whole goddamn movie. So I think this will probably be better. But whatever, that's not important right now. But what I was saying is though, when we walked out of that theater, I was absolutely not thinking about the things that people sort of pointed out to me, and then again, I started to think. And then I thought about the whole Wolverine staying there, and I'm like, oh, wait a second. Wow, what is that? So there's like bigger implications to the events that just unfolded
Yeah.
than I thought there were. Because when I was walking out of there, I'm like, they really didn't do anything to really set up. No, actually, they might have set up things more than. Oh, and then there's obviously the one scene we forgot to talk about in this from the TVA. A little something that Deadpool saw on a TV screen.
Oh.
Yeah, I can't believe we almost forgot about that. So there's a scene, and I absolutely love this, by the way. There's a scene that almost looks like it was kind of just re-edited from the scene with Loki in Thor: The Dark World, where Thor is holding a dying Deadpool in what looks to be the void underneath of him, and apparently Thor's crying over that Deadpool being dead.
Yeah.
What?
There was a couple times in it where even he was asking.
every time he
like,
wakes
why
up.
why was Thor crying?
Yeah, every time he wakes up,
Yes.
he makes there's a joke. Every time he wakes up, he's like, "Oh, Thor, God of Thunder."
Yeah.
Or something like that. So he's like, so every time he wakes up, the few times that he and it's like it's like okay, but then it never happens in the movie. The entire time they're in the void, it never happens, and I'm like, why would they keep that in, unless it's to tease something?
Secret Wars, maybe.
Secret Wars,
Maybe that.
or Avengers vs. X-Men. I mean,
Or it just Secret Wars. Maybe that could be the. I don't know, the end of Deadpool.
it could be.
That hurts saying it.
Yeah, it does hurt
Don't
saying that.
Don't let me say that ever again.
Yeah.
Oh.
But it's interesting to think about. Or it could be just a hilarious joke scene too.
Yeah.
Right?
Make us all
Because-
think that
or-
might actually be what's gonna happen, and then when
But
it comes
when
to
it
that
comes to-
time, it's
It's,
not gonna
yeah,
fucking happen.
he's dying
Yeah.
in Thor's arm, but Thor doesn't have any clue that he can't die because
Yes.
he has regenerative abilities,
Yes.
and so he's sitting there like, oh, and he's playing along with it and
And then
making a joke out of it.
Yes.
Like that is exactly what would happen. Like
Yes.
Bart, like I could put money on that. I feel like, but yeah, they did that scene, and then they're just like, it's not in the movie, so it's like okay. So we do. So there is that little teaser for a little nugget for something. We're just gonna say for something because we don't really know right now. I mean, the other question is what else? What other movies do you think Deadpool could just show up in now? Because he could just show up whenever the fuck he wants. Let's be honest.
This is true. Spider-Man, please be Spider-Man. Please be Spider-Man. Please be Spider-Man.
Hey, I actually do. Speaking of, we'll get into it in a minute when we shift over to the San Diego Comic-Con video. But I have heard that they are finally getting around to finishing the script for Spider-Man 4. So who knows? We could get that announcement today. But yeah, I mean, oh, by the way, that fucking hilarious scene where it's would you stop that? That was just pure gold. All right, guys. Thank you so goddamn much for watching. If you watched all the way to the end, thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Hey, get down in the comment section below. Engage. Let loose. Spoilers. Go nuts. Talk about everything that you loved about this movie. Tell us all your favorite stuff. And, again, I'll put a little special spoiler warning that's a pinned comment. That way anybody who, for some stupid reason, would try to read comments on a spoiler-filled video without seeing the movie first would not get spoiled. Exactly. Exactly. So go ahead, spoil away in the comments. Please like, comment, and subscribe. We're on our way to 500. We're this close, and we're going to be doing a very, very special video for our 500 subscriber milestone as a big thank you for you guys. And we've been working on it. We got some awesome footage cooked up for it, and we're going to put some other special stuff that, get that ready for that video as well here soon as well. So thank you guys for watching. Oh, hey, and description box below, Nerd Rage Network, Linktree. You can find all of our channels, including Bears, the Bear Essentials, where we're doing Taste Masters over there. It's going to be awesome. There's going to be several new episodes very soon. And on top of that, you can find our Patreon, where we do special exclusive content only for patrons. And I think that's it.
Pretty much.
I think we covered it. Okay. So thank you guys so much for watching. I've been Abe.
And I've been Bear.
And we'll see you in the next one.